spent 30 minutes, basically demoralizing me. She said, since you are the expert, right, okay, let's see how expert you are. She started spending 30 minutes talking about how major the problems are, the politics in the organization, they were getting lawsuits, they're losing customers, people are leaving her, she doesn't know what to do, and she said, so what do you think I should do? In my head, I was thinking, I think you should quit your job. But of course, I didn't say that, and I said the next best thing. I told her to imagine an elephant. Right, I gave her an analogy. I said, it's like eating an elephant. If you eat the whole elephant, you will choke and you'll die. So you've got to cut the elephant into small pieces so that you won't die, right? You understand the analogy? Simple analogy. She did not understand it. In fact, she was very offended by my analogy. Why? I later realized maybe because she is a vegetarian. I didn't tell her to eat the elephant. Later on, I spoke to my colleague about it, and my colleague knows this boss. He said, "You gone already. She must have thought you said she was the elephant." I mean, think about it, it's true, right? When people don't like you, whatever you say is not going to be music to their ears. But if they like you, everything you say will be music to their ears. I mean, think about it. If she likes me, and if I say she's an elephant, she would say, "Oh, you think I'm so cute, right?" And people are that biased. And that was true that very instance. I discovered a very powerful principle, which I want to share with you today. It's on the screen, and that is, people buy people first. The longer saying is, life is a popularity game. Before a person buys your products, before a person buys your services, before a person buys your ideas, they buy you first. And only if they like you will they start to trust you. And only when they trust you will they start to believe in everything that you say. There is a sequence. And so all of a sudden, Empress Dowager helped me realize that how she feels about me is actually a very big part of the decision-making process. I like what the late poet said, Maya Angelou, somebody I admire a lot. She said that people will probably forget what you did, people will probably forget what you said, but they will never ever forget how you make them feel. So my question to all of you is, how have you made every single prospect or customer feel in your interaction with them? It was in that instance I realized that I got it all wrong. I was focusing too much on selling. I should be focusing on connecting. So I need to win her over first. If I can win her over, then I can win that business. So I changed my strategy. This time I went to the HR manager, who was the second below her, and I said, you got to tell me something about the boss, right? Because I do not know anything about this Empress Dowager. And she said 3 things that I thought was very important. The first one was, this lady does not like motivational speakers. And I mean, I don't really motivate, but because you have a lot of energy, people tend to think that you are a motivational speaker. So that's one. Number 2, I said, your boss doesn't seem to like me. And then she said, my boss doesn't like anyone. So that was good, right? So it's not personal. The third thing I learned was she has a favorite word. Her favorite word was this thing called ROI. You don't know what's ROI? Right? Return on investment, right? So that was her favorite word because she used to be from finance. So I wrote that down, and the last thing I asked was, tell me something light-hearted about your boss, right? And she said, look at her size, you know lah, she likes to eat. So I said, okay, she likes food, so we'll connect on food. I later discovered that she likes very expensive gourmet sushi. Down at Dempsey Road, you pay about $60 for a plate of sashimi. That's her favorite food. So armed with this information, I managed to bag a 15 minutes appointment with her. She refused to meet me, but I asked for 15 minutes, and she met me. Everything was the same. She was still dressed in black, no smile, no eye contact. She said, young man, don't waste my time. What do you have for me? It doesn't really start well with that. So I sat down, and the first thing I said to her was, all trainers are going to tell you how great we are. But you never know until you see our ROI. The minute I say ROI, she woke up. And you know what I did? I started abusing the word. I use ROI in every single sentence. I said, the ROI of this speaker is different from the ROI of that speaker. And the minute, I think her husband's name is called ROI. And we connected so well. She started laughing at my jokes. She started smiling. She started talking to me. 15 minutes becomes 60 minutes conversation. And we managed to get to the point where she opened up enough to hear what I have to offer. Sometimes it's not about whether your products are good or not. Your products are good, but people are not open enough to hear that yet. They need to buy you first. And so in that moment, we connected. She said something that we all salespeople encounter, and that is, they think that you're too expensive. Oh, your product is very expensive. Now, it's a trick question, don't believe them. Everybody is always going to say that you're very expensive. The reason is because we must understand that customers don't buy on price, they buy on value. So I have not communicated value yet. But I know some information about her. I knew that she likes to eat, and she likes to eat expensive sushi, right now. So I told her to imagine me as a No. You don't imagine people as food right now in Singapore. I mean, you all look green right now. You look very yummy, you know. No, so you don't imagine people as sushi. I told them to imagine me as a sushi chef. Because I did some Googling, right? I realized that in Singapore, we actually willingly pay top dollars to hire this sushi chef to slice fish for you. And I told her this, I said, you're willing to pay top dollars to hire this chef to slice your fish in 3 seconds so that your fish tastes good. I said, so likewise, you're willing to pay me 45 minutes because I spent 3 years of time doing all the research for you, finding all the top salespeople, putting together a framework and teaching you in an entertaining, educating way. That's what you're paying me for. I am like the sushi chef, I told her. And the minute you put food involved, right, people get confused. And cut the long story short, eventually after a few more meetings with her, we managed to get a very, very big yes from her. She became a very happy woman, all right? And she started enjoying our interaction. I was very happy that day, not because we won that deal, but because I learned something extremely valuable that you'll never ever learn in a sales book, you'll never ever learn in school. And that is, before you can ever win a business, you've got to first learn to win that person over. Likewise in sales, before you can win that prospect business, you've got to first win that person's heart. The reason is very simple. In fact, in today's time, in 2014 onwards, this is going to be something extremely crucial if you want to be successful. Here's why. Number one, you are in a people business. And you know that people buy on emotion, not on logic. So how they feel about you is actually going to play a very huge part in the whole entire sales process. Number two, do you realize that you're facing a lot of competition these days? You're not just facing competition from other insurance companies, but you're even facing competition with banks who are also selling insurance. So as a consumer, we get confused. Who do we buy from? And from our point of view, we can't help but to see that there's not much differentiation with products. So what's going to really make it count is you, my relationship with you. That's what's going to give you an unfair advantage.